looked in the mirror and thought, wow, how did I get here and what's next? Me too. Hi, I'm Dom Hind and fuck, I'm nearly 50. Okay, technically I turned 47 last week, but let's be honest, the countdown has already started. 1 minute I was in my 20s, running marathons, building my career, working my ass off, traveling, juggling everything, and somehow staying upright. And now I wake up wondering where the time went, why my body makes weird noises, and how my life is exactly what I wanted, yet still a total work in progress. That's why I'm doing this. I'm not just looking back at what's brought me here. I'm genuinely pumped about what's next. New challenges, new adventures, and hopefully a hell of a lot of fun along the way. Fuck, I'm nearly 50 isn't just a podcast. It's my way of documenting this chapter. The highs, the challenges, the curveballs that no one warned you about. Honest, unfiltered conversations, no fluff, no filters, just real talk about the big stuff. Life, career, purpose, health, relationships, friendships, and what we actually want in the next phase. Midlife's weird, right? No one talks about it properly. It's either treated like a crisis or presented as this magical era where we're supposed to have it all figured out. Spoiler alert, most of us are just winging it. And that's why community matters even more than ever. The people who show up, cheer us on, and remind us that we're not alone, even when it feels like everyone else has it all figured out. That's why I wanted to start these conversations, because maybe, just maybe, we're not as alone as we think. And I reckon there's still a hell of a lot to figure out. If you're here for honest chats, a bit of chaos, and zero judgment, you're in the right place. And if you're figuring out midlife on your own terms or just want to hear someone else admit that they don't have it all sorted, you'll feel right at home. But putting yourself out there is hard, and I know I'm going to keep finding my voice and my feet as this podcast evolves. I always joke that the first couple of episodes will be like pancakes. You throw them out before you actually get it right. But I want to be as real and as honest as possible. The things I'm thinking and talking about. So give me some time and I'll get comfortable. I've got 36 months to find my groove, and trust me, I plan to enjoy every messy, awkward, brilliant minute of it. This isn't about pretending to have the answers. It's about exploring the questions and having a bit of fun along the way. Because fuck, we're nearly 50, and isn't that amazing? But before we dive into the episodes, you might be wondering, who am I to be having these conversations? Why should you listen to me ramble on about life and midlife and all the messy stuff in between? Well, here's the short version of my story. I'm Dom Hind. I was born in Devonport, Tasmania, but moved to Noosa when I was 2. Yes, that dream coastal town everyone now wants to retire to. My parents had 3 kids under 3. It was pure chaos. And I grew up with my 2 younger sisters, Jade and Holly. Jade's basically a professional passport collector, Canadian, Kiwi, Aussie, and now living in Amsterdam. And I'm sure it won't be long before she's got another passport. Holly, on the other hand, broke through the traditional boys' club of construction and development, following in my dad's footsteps, managing massive projects with determination and skill, all while living on a farm with 2 cows, because of course she does. My parents are still together and now live in Brisbane. My mum has battled anorexia for over 55 years. And that shaped a lot of how I view health, resilience, and what it means to keep going, even when the odds are stacked against you. Her struggle is something I've carried with me for most of my life, a battle I always felt like I should have been able to fix or solve. It's one of those failures that still plagues me, even though I know deep down it's not mine to carry. I've tried everything, but nothing has worked, and the journey continues today. It's not something that's going to stop anytime soon. And learning to live with that reality without losing hope has been one of the hardest lessons of all. My nan Fluff is still going strong, living in her 5-bedroom house in Devonport, the same home that holds so many family memories. She's supported by my incredible aunt who helps keep her independent and comfortable. I stay in touch with Fluff every week. Our chats are something I genuinely look forward to. And visiting her always feels like going back to my roots. There's something grounding and comforting about being with her, surrounded by the stories and the warmth of where it all began. Growing up was never boring. We were always around my dad's building sites, cleaning up, hauling materials, or planting grass clippings in the soil for one of his latest developments for what felt like hours. If we weren't on a site, we were on the golf course, learning patience, focus, and sometimes just how to hit a ball without totally losing it. Those lessons stuck with me, even if I didn't realize it at the time. At boarding school, I spent 2 years there in years 8 and 9, something I absolutely loved, but probably loved a little bit too much. It taught me independence, resilience, and how to stand on my own 2 feet. And it shaped a big part of who I am today. At 16, I was obsessed with becoming a professional triathlete. I trained like a machine, lived and breathed it. That dream didn't happen, but the mindset stuck. I've run marathons not because I love running, but because I love testing my limits. My favorite, hands down, the Paris Marathon. It was brilliant. And while those marathon days are behind me, movement is my non-negotiable. Exercise is my sanity, whether it's early morning spin classes, Pilates, lifting weights, or just getting out for a walk. It's how I stay grounded, clear my head, and show up as my best self for my family, my friends, my business, and myself. And fun fact, I've never actually had a coffee in my life. All this energy is powered by movement, not caffeine. I've always had a drive, a feeling that life's too short to play it safe. Every project, every challenge, every business I've built comes with the same question. What's possible if I just back myself? That attitude carried me through my studies too. I finished my business degree from UQ in 2.5 years because patience has never been my thing. Then I started a Bachelor of IT, majoring in e-commerce as one of 2 women in the entire course. It was then that I realized how much I prefer problem solving and strategy over writing code. My first proper job out of uni was helping the Australian government figure out how to get small businesses online, back when the internet was basically still a mystery to most people. We're talking dial-up days, no templates, no rules, just a whole lot of trial and error. It was like building a plane while flying, but it taught me something that stuck with me ever since. If you don't know the answer, figure it out as you go. Back yourself, take risks, and don't be afraid to try before you're ready. At 23, I moved to London and worked on the Marks & Spencer website, just as e-commerce was beginning to challenge traditional retail. That's where I learned the power of testing and learning. Trial fast, fail quick, move on. By 24, I was back in Sydney, pioneering digital in advertising agencies, back when most people didn't even know what digital really was. I was setting up departments from scratch, often questioning myself and faking it until I figured it out. By 26, I was leading a national team of 120 digital specialists when digital still scared people and no one was quite sure how long it would cost or how long it would take to build anything. We were all learning as we went, making it up in real time. I was also on the management team of the agencies, often the only woman in the room and always the youngest by at least 15 years. It was a massive learning experience, and I was very lucky to be taken under the wing of my CFO at the time, who taught me a lesson that stuck with me ever since. if you know the numbers, how to track them, how to influence them, and how to drive results, you can ask for anything and actually get it. After that, I worked at M&C Saatchi and Leo Burnett, heading up their digital CRM and UX teams, focusing on creative experiences for real people and not just businesses. And to be honest, I probably should have been fired a few times because I always prioritize people over profits, but that's a decision I'll never regret. Eventually, I decided to take the leap of faith and build something on my own. At 32, I started with collectives. No clients, no funding, but just a desire to do something different. Making sure that it worked and gave us the flexibility in our lives. 18 months later, Justin, my husband of 20 years, joined me. But before that, he was my client, then my boss, and now I like to say I'm his boss. Funny how life works out. He's been my biggest supporter, my sounding board, and the person who's always believed in me, even when I didn't believe in myself. We've navigated the chaos of running businesses, raising 2 incredible kids, and staying married through all the highs and lows. It hasn't always been easy, but I couldn't have asked for a better partner to build this life with. Together, we grew with Collective from the ground up, opened offices in Sydney and Auckland, and eventually sold it to Dentsu. It wasn't just a business. It was proof that you can build something meaningful without selling out your values. But the best thing that we've built together, our 2 incredible kids, Leighton, who's 11, and Hallie, who's 10. They're smart, creative, kind, loving, and let's be honest, absolute whirlwinds. They're also the reason I need to keep moving because slowing down isn't an option when you've got 2 little hurricanes running around. And now we've just started another agency together with a business partner, Reunion. All while I'm still running my consultancy with humans, which focuses on employee experience and making sure that it's improved in businesses. We all live together in Watsons Bay, just minutes from Camp Cove, our go-to spot for mornings in the water, afternoon with the kids, and long, salty summer evenings. It's where we reset, reconnect, and let life slow down, even if it's just for a moment. Some of our best family memories have been made there, sunset swims and plenty of laughs with Leighton, Hallie and Juz by my side. I love colour. And I love design. There's something about flipping houses and transforming spaces that lights me up. Jess and I have done a few places now, and every time it's been about creating something that feels fresh and is full of life. Our place in Watsons Bay is actually the longest we've ever stayed put, and honestly, I can feel those itchy feet starting to kick in again. When we renovated our house, I spoke to an interior designer who told me our project was too small. So I did it myself. I chose the furniture, negotiated trade pricing, and sorted every last detail. That too small job landed the front cover of Belle magazine. I've still got way too many copies lying around the house, but hey, it's not every day your hobby gets that kind of spotlight. Throughout my life, the common thread for me in all of this has always been about the people and making sure that I'm helping friends or clients or anyone who needs the support. But something that I absolutely love is recycling. And under our stairs is a mini recycling station with so many bins. It's like playing Tetris just to fit everything in. It's not just about being green. I love the idea of giving things a second life instead of tossing them away. Whether it's sorting packaging or finding ways to repurpose, it's second nature now. And yes, I will quietly judge you if you mix your rubbish with recycling or are still using single-use plastic bags as bin liners. I love my friends, and I've done a bloody good job of curating a circle of people who are real, honest, and open. No pretenses, no bullshit, just genuine connection. They're the ones who show up with the hard truths when I need them, and I do the same for them. I'm always there for my friends in the good times, but especially in the shit times. When life gets hard, I'll show up. I'll sit with you in the mess, help you pick up the pieces, and do whatever I can to make things a little less overwhelming. And if someone's hurt you, let's just say I've offered more than once to stand on someone's toes and accidentally push them over, because loyalty runs deep and nobody messes with my people without me having their back. The truth is, my friends are my fuel. They're my sounding boards, my biggest cheerleaders, and sometimes the ones who help me see the funny side when everything feels too hard. The laughter, the deep conversations, the unspoken understanding, they're the moments that keep me grounded and grateful. So that's me, real, messy, curious, and constantly figuring things out as I go. I've done a lot, I've failed plenty, and I'm proud of every twist and turn along the way. That brings me back to this podcast, why I'm doing it and what it's all about. I'm not chasing fame here, and I'm definitely not trying to build the biggest audience. That's never been the goal. I'm doing this because all of these conversations I want to have, the real, the raw, the often messy stuff that doesn't always get airtime. If it resonates with even a handful of people, if it makes someone feel a little less alone or a little more inspired, then that's a win in my book. This podcast is about connection, honesty, and sharing what life really looks like as we approach 50, without all the filters and the fake polish. There are already a million podcasts out there that sound like everyone has their shit together, all polished and perfect. This is not that podcast. This is messy, it's honest, it's real. It's for the what the fuck moments of midlife, the career pivots, the identity shifts, the is this all there is question, and that creeping horror of realizing that yes, your eyelids are starting to droop. We'll dive into everything no one warned us about. How the hell do we keep our energy levels up without smashing so many coffees or matcha teas? Why didn't anyone tell us our hormones would hijack both our bodies and our brains in our 40s? And what happens when you finally climb the career ladder and realize the view from the top isn't what you thought it would be? We'll talk about money, relationships, and adventure, because midlife doesn't have to be boring or the worst color in the world, beige. It should be bold, colorful, and a little bit chaotic. And I'm adding one more twist. Every guest on this show will leave me and you with a challenge, something I need to try before I hit 50. It could be bold, ridiculous, or completely unexpected. Just the shake-up we need to break out of autopilot. I'll give it a crack, and I hope you will too. If there's one thing I've learnt so far, it's this. Midlife isn't a crisis. It's just more life with more confidence, fewer fucks given, and way better stories. So yeah, I'm nearly 50, and no, life isn't slowing down. If anything, it's getting more interesting, more fun, and definitely more chaotic. If you're into honest conversations, a bit of mess, zero judgment, hit subscribe, stick around, share this with a friend who's also wondering when their body started to sound like bubble wrap. And just remember, whoever has the most fun wins, because fuck, we're nearly 50, and isn't it amazing? Yoo-hoo!